How's it going, everybody? Sean Pierce Johnson here. We're at the first annual San Francisco Amp Show, and I am here with Bruce of BC Audio. We are in his very lovely-looking demo room, surrounded by amp head cabs and amplifiers of all shapes and sizes. But the one we're going to be focusing on is this bad little guy right here. Bruce, first off, this thing, before we're checking and started rolling, we're checking levels. This thing sounds great. I was here the other day checking it out beforehand. Tell us a little bit about what you've done with this particular design, what makes it so special, and what makes your stuff so special.
Well, thanks. The couple things that are unique about this amp, it starts out as a very simple circuit. It's not something really complicated. There's 3 knobs. You can't really go wrong with that. But a couple things about it, I use octal preamp tubes, which are octal meaning 8 pins. They're larger, physically larger tubes for the preamp section than, say, a 12AX7, which is a typical tube you would find in an amp. I use 6SL7s, the octal preamp tube, and to me, they have a bigger sound. They have a more power tube-like sound, and the breakup character is much more like cranking up an old non-master volume amp, and you get that sound that we all love, you know, from the recordings of the '60s and all that. And then the other thing is internally, you can't see it here, but I do true point-to-point wiring, meaning there's no board at all. There's no eyelet board or turret board or printed circuit board or anything in the amp. Parts are wired directly from jacks and controls to the tube sockets with a few, terminal strips in between. And it's very neatly wired, and doing it that way removes a lot of wire within the amp, creating a more direct signal path, so that you don't have as much stuff that your signal's running through. So I've always thought that the more circuitry your guitar signal has to go through, the less pure it is. The cleaner, the simpler the circuit, and the simpler the execution of the circuit, the purer the sound.
Makes perfect sense. So with this guy, what do we have going on right here? It's very simple. It's 3 knobs. We got presence, volume, and drive. We got a foot switch on the floor. What's the basic kind of idea behind this little guy?
Well, the drive control is it's actually kind of unique. When you have it at a low setting, it allows a lot of the low end of the guitar through. You get the full spectrum sound of the guitar, and it's pretty clean down there. And as the higher you turn up the drive, of course, the more distortion you're going to get. But at the same time, it tightens up the bass, so you can get very high gain without it flubbing out with too much bass, which you would get with a lot of single channel amps. If it's sounds good clean, a lot of times it won't sound good distorted. And if you have, like, say, the high gain channel of an amp, if you turn it down to where it's clean, it's very thin and weak sounding. So this eliminates that problem. And then the volume it's a post-phase inverter master volume. For those who care about technical things, it's to me the best sounding master volume for this type of amp. And then presence is this particular presence control is a little different from a traditional presence in that it's in the power section, but it's connected to the grids of the power tubes rather than being in the feedback loop. And there you have it. That's all there is. And then the foot switch is actually, it's an optional mod for this model for Amplifier No.8, and it just basically gives you 2 gain options. You can have a little less gain or a little more gain. So you can go from rhythm to lead or whatever you want to do, from almost clean to really dirty with the foot switch.
Cool. Very cool. So why don't we dial back the drive? We'll go for a lower, and then I'll let you just turn that up as I start to play, and we can give everybody out there the full range of what this thing can do. That was sweet. Really great range of tones, all from one drive knob. That is just really nice. And you could really feel, I don't know how everybody's going to be able to hear it out there with the YouTube compression and everything, but in the room and as the player sitting with the amplifier, you really do feel the tightness in the low end. And that's just something I don't find with a lot of simple circuits when it comes to the low end. If you tend to try to crank it to get higher gain tones, and not necessarily high gain metal tones, but cranked amp kind of crunch. The low end gets really farty. The low end gets really flubby. It's lazy almost. It just keeps right up with the playing, and it's just really nice. So I'm convinced. I love it. And of course the Ammo Can amp has of course been kind of one of your mainstays for many, many years, and it's a very, very cool little design. So where can people go to find out more on this and pick one up?
bcaudio.com is the website, and I sell direct, and you can buy it online. You can click on the Buy Now button, and what we typically do is if we have it in stock, we can ship it to you right away. If we have to build one, then you just have to put down a deposit. It's all there on the website, explains how to do that, and then when the amp is done, we send you the invoice for the rest of it, and then we ship it.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, Bruce, thank you so much for being a part of this, and until next time, this is Sean Pierce Johnson. Cheers, guys.